Hi, Crafty Nanny Cola here. And if you want to see how I made this cute little gnome out of a pumpkin that I got at Walmart, stay tuned. Okay, what you will need for this project is a glue gun. If you burn your fingers like I do, then you will need these little finger savers, which I got at Dollar Tree, and they are still there. Something to turn your hat with, an older scissors, a fabric scissors, a brush for the beard, a smaller scissors to cut the back of the beard. It's much easier with this. A pumpkin that was $1.14 in the fall section at Walmart. You will need 2 pieces of felt for the arms, and these are 3.5 across and 4 long. You will need a piece of beige or any other color because it's actually going to be covered up anyways, but I just used the beige, and that is going to be if you are going to do the hands that hold little things, which these gnomes do hold little things. So I did make the little hands like that. A beard, and that is approximately 3 by 4, I believe. 2, 3 by 4. So approximately 3 by 4, and we will be cutting that. A base, if you would want. These do stand up even without the base on it, but I like to use the little hearts, which I get at Dollar Tree they looks like little feet, like this, like little feet. And then, or you can use, they also have circles, which you can paint or leave the way they are as a base, whichever you want to do. And then you will either need a roller, which seem to be hard to find since people started making gnomes, for the arms, and this will be cut in half, so you only need 1. If you cannot find those, then you will need to have 2 pipe cleaners, and then an extra pipe cleaner, and that will go in the hat to make the hat bend if you want the hat to bend. You will need a little bit of fiber fill for the hat if you want the hat to be stuffed, and then you will need a piece 14 by 12 of fleece, and I bought this fleece when it was on sale. It is the Blizzard fleece, and I bought all different fall that I could find, which there wasn't a lot, and it was on sale for $4.99, and I paid $2.50 because I only got a half a yard. I got 4 hats out of that, and I still have enough left, not for another hat, but I do have enough left to make boots later or whatever I want for gnomes also. Then you will need to have some embellishments, and these I got on Amazon, and I will put the link for those, and those came like this. So you can just, if you're going to put it in his hand, you have a little stem there to put it in his hand, and if you're going to put it on his hat, then you can just cut them off. I also just went to Dollar Tree, and they did have a lot of fall stuff. So I had found these, and there's 9 of those in there, and they are wired in the back. So you can either wire it to his hand too, or you can just cut it off and use those on the hat for probably a smaller gnome. I used the bigger ones here, and there was 6 in there, and they are also wired. And I just cut one off to do the last gnome. Then I found these little red trucks that are orange for with little pumpkins and sunflowers on for fall. And then I found these pumpkins, and I got I believe there was 3 or 4 in each one. Let's see, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, probably 4 or 5 in each one. And then there was 3 of these, and you would only use these if you were going to put your gnome on a bigger base and build a little scene. And then this is Hobby Lobby, and I got acorns and these nice little leaves, and then pine cones and little tiny pumpkins. So all the different fall stuff. So that's pretty much what you will need for this project. And these pumpkins come in several different colors here and designs. So without further ado, let's start our gnome. Our first business is to find the right side of our fabric. and that is this side that I have up, and then you want to fold those together. Now first you want to make sure that you have this side, the longer side, the 14-inch side, you want that to be the side that has a little bit of stretch in it. This actually has a lot of stretch, but if you're using regular fabric, make sure that you're using the stretchy side, because that's the side that's going to go around the gnome's head. And then you want to fold that in half, and then coming in, make sure it's all folded well. And just, if it's a little crooked like this, just take your scissors and shape it up. Try to take as little as possible. Okay, and this side doesn't matter so much because we're drawing on that, so I'm going to do it. It's easier for me to do it from this side. So I'm going to come in here about 1/4 to 3/8 inch, and I am using tailor's chalk. Use whatever you want. You're not going to see it anyways afterward. And you're just drawing a rounded line up into the corner. And that's where you're going to sew. Okay, for our next step, we are going to take the one pipe cleaner, bend it in half, and using your wire cutter or an old scissors, cut it in half, and then just take the ends and bend them down so you don't have any of the wire exposed to, because that'll rip the hat, or if a child picks it up, they could poke themselves, or an adult, I guess. So then you just want to take and glue on either side of the seam. So you're going on the outside of the seam, not on the inside of the seam, and you're just going to glue it. You don't need to glue it quite to the top. Got my glue gun over a little fire here. Okay, so just go along the line. I don't know why my glue gun is not wanting to push out. And I'm just going to cover my fingers. And then you just want to put that there and curve that. There we go. And just curve that in there to the curve of the hat. So the next step is turning the hat. Repeat the, excuse me, I forgot to tell you, make sure you repeat with both sides so that you have the pipe cleaner on both sides. And now just start to turn the hat. It is a little trickier with the pipe cleaner in there, but try to go up as far as you can into the hat and just turn. And then from there, just push the hat until you get it through, to get the point back through. And I use a chopstick. At least I think that's what it is. And then take the pointed end. So remember, when you sew it, make sure that you really, really get it. See, and you get a really nice point there if you sew it really well. And there's that nice point. Hope you can see that. Okay. Then our next step, just kind of finger press that a little bit where the seam is in the back. Put the seams together and just kind of finger press that. Then you want to take and you want to fold this about 2 inches inside. So you can just kind of eyeball that. I would open the seam because this is fleece and it's a little bit thick. And I'm just going to pin that. So try to get the front and the back as even as you can. And then just stretch that out good so that you don't have any gaps in there. Might have to put this down a little bit. So the back, you do want the back, you know, can be a little bit more pointed and long because that's going to go in the back, so it makes it, you know, look just fine that way. And pin from the inside because that's where you're going to sew it or glue it if you want to glue it. I just don't glue this stuff. It's just too hard for me. So I'm going to, after I get that, then I'm just going to sew all that. Okay, then your hat, after you sew it or glue it, it will be like this. So you can either leave it like that. See how you have that little back that's a little lower, so you have more in the back, which is going to fit on the pumpkin better. So you can leave it like that. Your hat is a little bit bigger, but you can adjust for that. But what I like to do is I take it just under where I've sewn, and that's where I fold it. Cut that string off quick there. And I just fold it up. And then you can just dot it with glue. Or you can sew it by hand, whichever you prefer. Just dot it with glue though, because sometimes you might want to stick a little something inside the hat. So make sure that the sewing isn't showing. So I'm just going to dot this in the back. Little dot of glue on the sides. Like I said, just bring it up just so the sewing doesn't show. Or the gluing if you glued it. And then right there in the front, and the hat is done. So you can set that aside for now. So next we're going to build our arms. So first we're going to take our, we're going to take the wire out, and that's these little white things on. I found no use for them, so I'm just going to get rid of them because I don't want my dogs to end up getting them or something. And then just carefully pull that out. Get rid of the one on the other end. And then bend the wire in half. And cut it in half. And then take your pliers and just bend that little end down out of the way. Repeat that for the other side, and then make sure that the one that you pulled out is also flush with the wire. Then take your pool noodle and bend that in half. And then take your older scissors and just cut that. Try to pull on the scissors, and that'll give you it pretty straight. Okay, now we are going to take our piece of felt, and you're going to run a line of glue across the beginning and lay your poo noodle right there, or your curler noodle, and lay that there a little bit. You want to leave a little bit at both ends, and then just start rolling it as that dries. And I would suggest, I did make one with yellow, and it was a blue noodle, and it did kind of show through, because you don't want the arms too fat. So yeah, I would use the dark or the orange. The orange worked better. And just roll that up nice and tight. And then run I have a fan on, I live in a desert. So it rolls those noodles everywhere. Try to get that glue inside. I do tend to get it wrong, and then it comes seeping out because I put it too close to the edges. Then repeat that for the other side. Now if you were going to use the pipe cleaners, you would just fold the pipe cleaner in half and then make it the length you want the arm, which is about 4 inches. Then bend these over, you know, again, and then you might want to make you might want to cut this felt longer because you don't have as thick a base. So you can experiment with that. Right now I've got enough noodles that I don't have to worry about doing it with that for a while. Okay, now next step is to glue. And I'm going to put my things on because I just burned myself good again. Okay, so we want to get our pumpkin and decide where we're going to put. So we want our seams to be down, but we are going to bend, so we want to kind of hide the seams as well as we can. So your seams should be kind of down and to the back. And so just kind of experiment to where you want, you know, where it's not going to show the seam. So it looks like right there. So what you wanted to do from there is take and glue this together on the top. And then repeat that with the other one. Okay, so the next step is you want to make sure that your pumpkin is as, you know, that the best side is to the front so that it's standing fairly straight. I did have one pumpkin that I made and I did slice off a little bit. It's just styrofoam, very soft styrofoam too, so it shaves off real easy if you do need to shave it off. Then the other thing, I do use a couple of pins when I glue it in. So what did I do with my other? Okay, by using the pins, you can move the pumpkin around to see what is the best. You can also go ahead and put the base on if you want, but I did put it on one pumpkin in the beginning, and it when I put the hat on, it kind of got weird, so I decided to wait until afterwards, just in case the pumpkin wasn't you know, quite right. So it looks like this is balanced. I tried it a couple other ways and it was not balanced, so you want to make sure that it's balanced. So now you know where to put your arms. So just lift up a little bit and glue those arms in there. Glue is going all down there. You're not going to see any of this glue, so I'm not going to worry about it up here. I don't know why it was going down the pumpkin like that. And then same thing on the other side. And you're going to have to hold them for a few minutes. Okay, once you get your arms where you want, remember that the hat is also going to help keep the arms on. Oh, and I forgot that you also need a bead for the nose. And I measured the bead at 3 inches. I'm not sure what millimeter it is, but I measured it at 3 inches around. So yeah, you need a bead. 3 inches around this was. Okay, next we're going to go ahead and do the beard. So I like to take the beard and I like to cut it round. So only cut the backing, always on a beard. And I'm going to take it and I'm going to just cut it around. A smaller scissors is much better for that. You want to leave all of the fur, you just want the backing. So there. And then I'm just going to cut this a little bit to make it a round. You don't have to do this, I just think it fits a little bit easier around the nose. And then you want to put it right there where the, you will be able to feel where it's coming down like a waterfall. And that's where you want to put the beard. And I like to put glue all the way down on it. Some just put it on top, but I like it all the way down. And then what I did on these two, as you can see on this one, I cut the beard so you could see all of the bottom. And then on this one, I cut it only to his feet. So those are the two gnomes. Okay, after you get the beard glued on, we want to go ahead and find our wires and put the wires back in there. And that's going to allow us to be able to form our arms to where we want so it can hold something. You want to get it in there enough so it's not showing. This one I may have to cut a little bit. It's not going in there all the way. Let's see if I can get it in there. Okay, there, I got it in there. Okay, and then you just want to bend your arms to where you want them before you put the hat on. And you can make the beard, you know, just out on the sides. And you can trim any of this up if you have a little bit of excess there. You don't want to trim too much, just want to trim what you can see in the excess because you are going to stick the, you're going to stick the holder in there. Okay, I'm going to put the nose on. I just want to put everything on, and I think next, because he's kind of falling over, and I think once we get the nose on, he's really going to fall over. We want to get him onto the heart. In fact, I think it might be a good idea to go ahead and put him on the heart right now. That way he'll stand better. You want to make sure, go ahead and lift the beard so that you can see where so it looks like he has little feet. And get him nice and straight. Keep the beard out of the, I'm going to bring him back just a little. So see, it looks like he has little feet. Hopefully you can see under the beard. So that's gonna give you a little bit more stability of staying up. And then let's put your, go ahead and put the nose on. And that should go just above the beard there. A little bit on the beard and a little bit of, above, like this. And just hold that on there. Needs to be glued on there pretty good. Okay, to do the hands, and this is how they will look, and you want to make sure that the folded side is at the top, otherwise you're going to have the unfolded side. Is going to be harder to put anything in. It'll get caught in between. So we're going to start with a 1 1/4 by 2 inch piece of felt, and then just run a line. You're going to fold that in half. So just fold that in half, or glue it and fold it in half. And then you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to put a little drop of glue. You don't want to get it in there too far, just enough to hold that together so it has some stability when you put it in there. And then fold that over to there so that the ends are even, and hold that. I must have had glue on the thing, and it got glue all over the back of it. Then after that's good and dry, then we want to just take it and glue it into there. So just put some glue inside. Make sure your noodle is back. Cut it back if you can. It comes off the glue easy. And again, make sure it's up. And then check the sides and check the back. I did get a bunch of glue on the back, so. And get that in there. Get the beard out of the way. Okay, then I'm going to go ahead and put his hat on and find the middle of the back and bring that down. So see where you want it here. So you can glue it in the back and hold that on. Next, you'll be putting it over his arms. So next you want to bring it down over his arms. And if you want, you can use pins at this point too by putting them just inside of here. And then glue that down where you want it onto the arms. Make sure that you have enough to leave over the nose so that you can see the nose. Flatten that out a little bit, flatten his arm out a little bit so that sticks on there. And get his arm back up where you want it on the other side with the bending. And bring that down. Flatten the arm first. Make sure it's flat in there. For some reason the wire didn't want to stay as well on this one. Okay, and then you want to take, and it goes around his nose like this. So basically just the tip of his nose, just a small amount. If you want more, then just do it that way. Is that better? And then you can put dots of glue right in here to cover anything that the beard. I should have actually taken the beard, put it up around his nose a little more. So I'm just going to glue this down a little bit right here so you don't see the top of that beard. You can also like cut a little V and that would go around the nose. So it looks like gluing on the, if you can find the best side of the pumpkin, gluing on the bottom little thing will be a good idea so that you have a little bit more stabilization. Okay, so there he is. So now we'll just get his little pine cone for his hand. Some of them have a little thing on that is sticking out, so that it makes it a little easier if you can find one with like a little thing, but that's not too big. So it's got a little end on it, so that's easy to do. And then grab a flower for his other, or you can use, I tried, you would need to make the hand bigger if you wanted him to hold an acorn. So I will probably do one at some point, but, and then I decided that I liked the larger ones for this, so I'm just going to take this for the end and just cut this with the wire cutters and leave a little bit there. Don't cut it all the way because it might come apart. And you could use the red truck or whatever you want there too. Okay, now you've got your stuffing in there. So you can bend this any way you want. You can leave it up if you want and give him a higher hat, or like I bring mine mostly down. I kind of like them like that. You can also bring it to the side like this, or you can curl it. So there's several different things you can do with the hat. I might leave this one curled. It's kind of cute. Yeah, it's kind of cute with that. So I'm just going to glue this on. Just take the wire down, put a little bit of glue. And you can use anything you want, a little pumpkin or whatever. It doesn't have to be a sunflower. And then just take your pine cone, and it doesn't really matter which hand what goes in. Get a little bit around the edges too here, so it stays in there, and then just put it in that little hole in there. And it looks like he's handing you a little pine cone, like maybe his girlfriend. So I'll maybe make a girl one. Would be cute. And then same thing with your just put some glue around the stem and a little bit around here. And then he goes. And there he is. And sometimes I'd like to take a little bit of blush and make his nose a little bit of pink, so that's up to you if you want to do that. So there he is. Y'all have a wonderful day. And if you like these videos, go ahead and subscribe, give me a like, and share it with your friends. Be safe.